Back to Beyond the Routine with Spence on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Emma Spence.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Routine with Spence. Tonight, I decided that I was going to try and do this by myself. I haven't done that. I guess I did do that for my first episode to kind of give like a background of my life, my story and everything. But I don't know. I realized that every time I have people on here, it's like I'm giving an interview and I don't talk about myself or like what's going on in my life as much. It's more like an interview with the person that I'm talking to, which I don't have a problem with that. I think it's really cool. And I love giving other people like that platform to kind of just share their experiences and talk about things that we relate to each other with or anything like that. But I don't know. I want to push myself tonight and try to get out of my comfort zone because I don't know. I just want to see if I could do it. I also, part of me wants to start a podcast at some point, and I feel like this is a good way to tell if I actually want to do that. Which I guess if I do have a podcast, I could talk with other people as well. But I don't know. Decided to push myself and get out of my comfort zone. And I think the best way to try and approach this for me is going to be pretending like I'm on FaceTime with my family because um, I don't know. I feel like that's going to help. So I don't know. I feel like there are just, I'm just going to talk about what's going on in my mind. So there are just so many people I know that are kind of going through it right now or just struggling. And I want to use this platform to be able to talk about like real experiences going on in my life, the good, the bad, and just be vulnerable and real about what's been going on or what is going on. And I don't want it to seem like everything's just like great all the time every time I come on the show because I don't know, I feel like that's not really realistic. And I think it's important to hear about the good and the bad because I mean ultimately it's the both of those things that kind of shape you as a person and makes you who you are. And I don't know, I was thinking about this too. It's like I feel like the harder topics aren't really like normalized or talked about that often, but I don't know, I feel like they should be because I don't know if you talked about the hard things more frequently, I feel like they wouldn't seem as like hard or it wouldn't even just be like as hard to talk about because it's something that is more normalized. So I want to also try to do that and I feel like especially for athletes, I think it's just so important for them to use their platforms to share all of those things, the good and the bad. And so that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of where I'm coming at this from tonight. And I feel like there's so much power in storytelling, whether you're listening to someone tell their story, I don't know, a famous athlete or in a TV show or a celebrity or reading in a book. It could be like a kid's book, even, but there's just so much power in storytelling and sharing your experiences and the things that you go through. And I just think that, I don't know, me being able to share what's been going on in my life um, could be helpful. I don't know, even for like my family. I don't know. I called my mom today really quickly at the grocery store because I wasn't sure. Um, I was trying to make chicken pot pie and I just didn't know what crust to get. And I FaceTimed her and she helped me figure all of that out. But it's like, I don't know. I just, everything's so busy lately and I just feel like I don't really have time to talk to my family as often as or as much as I would want to. So even just like having that little conversation was really nice. But I don't know, using this platform as a way to communicate with my family because I know like my grandparents watch this, some of my relatives, my family, like my mom and dad, my sisters, they watch it all the time. So I feel like this podcast or like radio show for me is also a way to connect with my family because they are all in Canada and it's hard for me to find time to FaceTime them or call them all the time. So at least through this every Sunday night they can watch it or they'll rewatch it if they don't have time to watch it live. And that's just a way to keep the connection going between my family and I. And yeah, I don't know. That's just how I try to see it. One thing I realized when I rewatched some of my podcasts with Yanni, or I've also watched some of it with my coaches, and I noticed that like I laugh a lot when I get like really anxious and nervous. Um, but because I want to try and use this as a space to talk about some of the struggles and some things that aren't always spoken about. I don't know. I just want to say that's why I laugh. um, and also, I don't know. I feel like it's a lot less isolating to hear about someone else's experience, or it's a lot less isolating when you hear about someone else's harder experiences when you're going through your own, because it's like you have someone that you can kind of like relate to and share experiences with, even if you don't fully like know that person. Personally, like when I was going through some hard things, just in life and my career, back when I was living at home, I turned to podcasters. I don't know if that's the word, but people doing podcasts often. And someone that I really looked up to was Victoria Garrick. She played volleyball and she was an NCAA athlete, and she was just very open about um, the ins and outs of the NCAA athlete experience. She was going through some eating disorder issues and some mental health issues, which at the time I was as well. And that was really helpful for me to just listen to someone else talking about um, the hard things that they were going through, because it was also just like not validating, but it was like, okay, like I'm not crazy for feeling this way. Other people feel this way too. And even athletes at the top level do struggle. And I don't know, I feel like on social media, you only really see the good things that are going on behind the scenes or just in their life. Like most people just post the good things because I don't know, you don't want to show the bad things. But by hearing her share her story, she was doing TED Talks and she started her own podcast eventually. And she's become a really big influencer now. But at the time, probably, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, she wasn't that popular yet. And I just thought that her stories and everything she was talking about was so inspiring, and it helped me get through some of the challenges and hard times I was going through, like I mentioned, with eating disorders and mental health related problems. And it was also during COVID, so I had a lot of time on my hands. So I started following these new people and catching up on their story and everything. So I don't know. This is definitely out of my comfort zone, but I hope that by sharing some of my story and being vulnerable and honest about some of these things will help other people listening to this as well. Um, I don't really know who listens to this, honestly. I try to advertise it on my social media when I can, but I don't know. I know my family does, so maybe my little sisters if it helps them. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of what this is about to be about. Um, so I'm just going to start with where I'm at and how things are kind of going in life. I feel like I know I've had this conversation with a couple of my friends and my sisters and just people that I know, and I feel like we're at kind of a hard part in the semester right now where like I don't know, it's getting colder out. People are getting sick. I was pretty sick at the beginning of the week actually. I had some kind of bug, I don't know. The clocks went back a week or 2 ago, so it's getting darker out sooner, and it's darker or for longer in the morning. I know, I feel like, at least for me, school is getting so busy. Like, next week is probably gonna be the busiest school week that I've had this semester. It's kinda like I don't know, I feel like I see it as, like, the final push before the Thanksgiving holidays. So it's, like, trying to get everything sorted out and figured out before we do get that break. And I don't know, I noticed this. So I went to Target the other day and I just noticed how like the Christmas decoration is out everywhere. There's Thanksgiving stuff that's out, but there's also like some leftover Halloween stuff out too. So there's just so many different vibes and so many different things going on. And I feel like, I don't know, it's kind of confusing. And it's kind of confusing me and just like everyone else because I was with some of my teammates and we were just kind of laughing about it because it's just like there's just so many things going on in life right now. And it's just like, I don't know, the seasons or the holidays are even a little bit confused. Um, I don't know. Another thing I feel like mental health is just because of all of these things, mental health has been a struggle. I've personally felt that. I know some of my teammates have felt that, and we've been talking about it. And another thing is missing family and home. I feel like this is like I don't know. Last time we saw our families or were home was in August, and we're about to see them like at the end of November, but it's like you're just anticipating that and you're so excited for that to finally happen that it's like, I don't know. You're just, like, anxious for it, and it makes it, like, missing family and all of that so much harder, and personally, I find it's even harder when, like, I don't have time to call them or, like, reach out to them as frequently as I would like to because everything is so busy, and I think, a lot of people feel that as well. It's like, you have so many things going on, and, like, I just wanna find the time to talk to my family and call them and, like, spend time with them, but there's literally no time, and that gets kinda frustrating. So that's why I'm trying to spend more time with my teammates, honestly. Um, I had one of my teammates over on the well, she came over on like Wednesday and then we hung out on Friday. Hung out with a couple girls on Friday. And it's been really helpful to just surround myself with people that are going through the same things because as an athlete, student athlete, not many other people are going through the same kind of things that you're going through. Like, you could ask all students on campus, and they're all probably feeling the same things I just described. But when you add college athletics on top of it, I feel like it's exhausting. Um, there's just so much going on all the time. And yeah, that just makes it a little bit tougher. So I also wanted to share some like mental health tips or like ways to help with this kind of stuff, because I don't know, I don't wanna talk about how it's just hard all the time, like, let's try and find some suggestions and ways to fix it. So, some self-care things I think are super helpful. I mean, for our team, we get massages on Monday, so definitely is something that is really helpful to do. And then just, like, I don't know, baths with, like, bath bombs and bubble baths I think are really helpful. I like lighting a candle. I got some new markers actually last week, 'cause I have a coloring book, so I was coloring in my coloring book a couple times last week. I thought that was really fun, and just kinda, like, relaxing with my candle. That was great. Some other self-care. I think going for walks is really helpful. And I think, yeah, just spending time with friends has been huge, especially like I mentioned, people going through similar things, being able to talk about what's going on, support each other through it has been great. Family time. I did mention that it's hard to find that, but I really cherish that family time. Like even I called my mom. It was probably like a minute. I wouldn't say it was more than a minute, but I was basically just like, "Okay." Oh, no, it was definitely, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 minutes. But I was like, "Hey, like, what pie crust do I get?" Like, all this stuff, and then we just quickly had a little debrief, and I said I would, call them when I got the chance, so hopefully that's soon. Um, so family's a good one. Honestly, what I've also found this week is that alone time has also been really helpful. Um I don't know, it's sometimes draining or exhausting, or at least I find it to, like, you get out of bed, get dressed, and go spend time with people, because it can be draining, especially when you feel like your battery's already running low. For example, this weekend, yesterday, actually, I just spent literally all day in bed. I didn't get out of bed till probably, like, 1, and then I made some food. I had a lot of schoolwork to do and just, like, things like that, but I was like, I was planning on going to the coffee shop, um, and doing that, but I was like, "I really just can't today." So, I spent some time. First, I FaceTimed some people, my sisters, some of my teammates, just, like, caught up with some people, but then I, was like, "You know what? I don't think it's gonna happen today," and I just ended up doing, like, all my assignments, all my school stuff, like, literally from my bed, and I never do that. Like, if I'm gonna do schoolwork or anything, I need to leave my apartment and go to a coffee shop because I can't get it done. I usually just get really distracted about, I don't know, with everything else going on in my room. I don't know. So, that was a big deal for me, and I don't know, I'm kinda tough on myself with that kinda stuff. It's like, "Okay, if you're gonna do this, you have to do it this way," and, I don't know, proving myself that it's like, "Okay, you can adapt to how you're feeling if you're not feeling well mentally. It's okay. Just do all your assignments from your bed." I had to read a book for practice. Heather's got us reading this book as like kind of like a book club with the team. So I had to read a couple of chapters of that last night. So I did all that, watched TV, played some games on my iPad, was coloring. I don't know. Those are some things. So yesterday I definitely just had like a mental health day. And in my head, I usually like not judge myself, but it's like I see it as lazy. when I'm not being productive or like my version of productive. So that was really hard internally to figure out like, okay, girl, it's fine to just chill in bed, be productive, get your school done, talk to your people, do things for yourself, like the TV and the coloring book and all that. And that's kind of how I navigated that. And by the end of the day, I got all my assignments done that I needed to. I read that book that I had to, talked to my people, and I don't know, I kind of proved to myself that I didn't need to. I don't know. I had the standard that like, oh, if you're gonna do this, you need to do it this way. And I was just like, no, I adapted to the way that I was feeling. Took a, I don't know, all day in bed kind of day. Even for food, like I just ordered DoorDash for dinner because I didn't want to cook anything. So I really just chilled. But I don't know. I woke up this morning, feel a lot more refreshed. Was proud of myself for actually taking the time to just chill and listen to my body. Like, I was sick earlier in the week, and I think it's just because I wasn't listening to my body when I was overwhelmed or tired or just all of the above. My body just kinda shut down. So I really had to, like, take a step back and be like, "Okay, what do I need right now to be able to kinda, like, perform at my best and just be at my best for the week and even just get through the week?" And this week was kind of a struggle. So by the time I got to Saturday, I was just like, that's what I need to do. That's what my body's telling me. So, yeah. To finish that story, it's good to have a day in bed if you need that, and just do what you need to do and give yourself some grace because if you listen to your body and do what you need to be at your best, at especially at the time, it's gonna pay off in the end. Like, I woke up this morning and I was like, "Okay, ready to go practice, ready to do all this because our Sundays are actually so busy. Like, we get Saturdays off, but Sundays we have practice in the morning. We have, like, an hour-ish break, and then we do hot yoga. So, even though it's a Sunday, we do some things at the gym. So, I was glad that I took the time yesterday for myself because I was able to get right into it today and feel pretty good about everything. So, that's what I learned. Just kinda listen to my body more. Another thing, I know a lot of my teammates talk about this, and I know one of them's listening to this right now, and we talk about this a lot, is when our mental health is bad, then we kinda stop eating. Not like stop eating, but it's just, like, a lot harder to fuel ourselves properly. Um, there's this weird culture with food and eating, related to gymnastics, and you get taught that from a young age, like, I don't even know if I wanna get into all this, but there's a lot of, like, eating disorder stuff that's normalized in the culture of gymnastics, which hopefully we're transitioning out of that. Um, I hope so. But in the time that we grew up in, it was very normalized, and if it was almost like a punishment from our coaches, like, not being able to eat. So, I don't know, we put 2 and 2 together, and we're like, whenever we're struggling mentally, it's almost like see, she just texted me and said that the eating thing is real. Um, it's just like not that you're like trying to punish yourself, but it's like you feel like you don't deserve to eat because for so long that's kind of what you were told. So, I don't know, personally, when I'm struggling mentally, finding the time to eat or feeling like I deserve to eat has always been a struggle. So, I don't know. This girl and I don't know if she wants me to expose her, so I won't say her name. But, like, even yesterday, we're just whenever one of us is struggling and we have a meal, like, it sounds ridiculous, but this is a real thing. Like, I sent her a selfie or, like, a picture of, like, "I just ate my breakfast this morning. I really didn't want to, but I powered through and I ate it." And, like, we just celebrate those little things because it's important to have someone that understands, I guess, what that struggle is like and help you through it. And honestly, I do think this goes back to kind of like that toxic culture in gymnastics, but um yeah, hopefully that's changing. And I think just giving yourself grace is also very important in that kind of situation because there's some things that are just kind of like permanently engraved in you, or at least in us. So realizing that like, okay, I'm just having a like a bad day or I'm struggling right now, but that does not change my worth or that doesn't mean that I don't deserve to eat or I don't deserve to take care of myself and fuel myself properly. And being able to have those honest conversations with people that you're close with and we're kind of like accountability buddies. So I think that's just been really helpful, and that's kind of how I help navigate that as well. So another thing I was talking to another one of my teammates about is like we realize that it's really hard to tell your parents and your family when you're struggling. And it sucks, and my family's probably like, "Oh," because, I mean, it's not like we do it on purpose, but it's like, you know that your family is far away, and they're going to want to do everything that they can to support you and be there for you, but it's like, you know they're gonna feel bad when they can't help you, and they know that you're struggling, because it's like, I don't know, which, honestly, I do a pretty good job at telling my family when things are tough. Like I told my mom earlier today, and I think honestly I'm probably pretty easy to read, but it's like you feel bad going into the details of the things that are going on because you don't want them to be worried or feel bad or like feel that they can't help you and feel bad about it. Um, One of my teammates earlier on last week came to me with this issue. She's a freshman and she was just like, how do I navigate this? Say I was just on the phone with my mom, like, she feels bad because, like, there's nothing she can really do right now to help me, and I was like, I know exactly what you mean, and I did have kind of a conversation with my parents about it, and it's so hard being away from home, and, like, I don't know, I always thought that I was kind of alone in that because I was at the time, I was the only one on my team from Canada, but hearing that the American girls on my team also go through it because I guess they are also away from their family, I don't know. It made me feel like I was less alone in experiencing that. Um, but yeah, that's something that I was just like, I don't know. It's kind of not normalized, but it's kind of a struggle that a lot of us kind of go through internally because it just makes you feel isolated. And honestly, I feel like it also makes you miss home even more. Like personally, like when I start talking to my family, I miss home so much more after. Um, but I have ways to cope with it. Um, Another thing though that's super exciting is that last week I decided I wanted to go home for Thanksgiving. So originally I wasn't going to be doing that, but I was like, you know what? Like I miss my family. I haven't seen them in a long time. I'm just gonna book these tickets. And I texted my family and I booked them like the same day. I was like, I'm so excited. I want to see them so bad. So very excited to be around family again. It's only like 3.5 days, but, it's okay. At least I get to see them, and yeah, I guess the traveling from Canada is kinda long, but it's okay. It's definitely worth it. I'm very excited to be seeing them, and that's kinda what these girls and I were talking about too. It's like, I don't know, I one of the suggestions I gave her was to put a countdown app, like, on her phone, counting down the days until she gets to go home because, having that to look forward to is super helpful, especially because the last time we were home was so long ago. So, being able to go home and see family in a couple weeks is definitely going to help get over kind of these challenges and these things that are going on and just power through. Um, and that's kinda what I'm looking forward to going into that. I do see the light at the end of the tunnel, though. I don't want this to all be just like this is, like, hard, but, because it's not. I do see the light at the end of the tunnel with training, with school, now that I get to see my family coming up, just all of these things, I'm just really looking forward to, and I think one thing that I don't know, I'm calling this, like, my senior year mentality, but because this is my last year going through all of these things, the preseason workouts and all that kinda stuff, it's like I'm embracing it more because 'cause I'm like, "Okay, this is my last time ever going through this, so I wanna take advantage of all of the opportunities." Even if the workouts are hard and the lifts are hard and things are hard, it's like, "Okay, but this is the last time I'm gonna go through this, and I wanna embrace it, and I don't wanna have any regrets by the end of the season because of that." And I'm trying to have the mentality of, like, I get to do this rather than, like, I have to do this. I think that's been really helpful, and we've talked about that a little bit as a team, how to just like change the mindset and the wording on how you approach the things going on in life, and especially with the team in preseason. But yeah, I just to wrap that up, I don't want to come on and say like how life is like terrible, because it's really not. I'm really happy, and things are going really well. But yeah, I see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm very excited for what's to come. That's all for this segment. We'll be right back on Beyond the Routine with Spence.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today. The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations, now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? That feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11th, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios on O Street. Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, enjoy unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Wellman Plumbing at 402-434-2400 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-434-2400.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
The Link Grill, Draft, and Crafts is your spot in Southeast Lincoln for great food and drink. They're serving new menu items and a killer craft cocktail menu with your favorite draft beers. You'll love their pizza and new entree options. It's a great place to watch any live events, and they have music bingo every month. They have an aggressive loyalty program that rewards fans with 7% back on all purchases. Home of the Nebraska Power Hour every night from 8 to 9 p.m. Order online at thelnkgrill.com or stop in at 84th and Highway 2 today.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
back to Beyond the Routine with Spence on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Emma Spence.
Welcome back to Be on the Routine with Spence. I decided to step out of my comfort zone and go solo tonight. I don't know. I just wanted to see if I could do it, I guess. And I don't know, I have some things to share, so might as well take this opportunity to do that. Just wanted to say, following my last segment, I don't know. I think it's important to just be real and honest about some of the things going on because not everyone talks about it, and talking about it normalizes the ups and the downs and makes people feel more supported. And even if you don't know the person, or I don't know, that's kind of how I found things to be personally. Hearing other people go through things made me feel less isolated and made me feel more empowered to overcome the challenges I was going through. So, yeah, I don't want to come on this and say how life is great all the time because that's just unrealistic. But that's okay. Like I mentioned before, it's the ups and the downs that teach us the most, and they help us grow and evolve as people. So, I'm just going to finish that thought with that. Moving on, I want to talk a little bit about how our preseason is going and how our team is looking. So, actually, let me explain how the seasons and all that stuff works first. So preseason for us starts, I would say, I think the first day is like first week or two in September, and it goes all the way until season starts, basically. So during this time, we have lift and practice, and we have hot yoga on Sundays, and it's intense. Not gonna lie, it's intense. It's basically training us to be ready by the time season comes. And if you don't know, I guess in season we compete about 13 weeks back to back. And gymnastics is a sport that is very hard on your body and just physically challenging and mentally. But yeah, having to go through that long season, you really need to like prepare your body for that, which is why our preseason is hard. Our coach always says it's like you're like filling up the gas tank for like when season comes, so that you have enough to be able to make it through the whole season. Season for us is January to April. If you do well, nationals are in April. That is our goal this year. So yeah, we do preseason September to December. For the first 8 weeks of preseason, we lift in the mornings, 6:30 a.m. twice a week, and then we practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. No, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. The early lift is Monday, Thursday. Lifting after practice on Tuesday, Friday. I had a class conflict. So a class conflict is like you have practice that goes into your training time, which means you finish training later. So I couldn't lift after practice on some of the days with my team because I was still practicing. So I had to come in and lift earlier in the morning 3 times during the week. That kind of sucked, but it's okay. Like I said, I'm just embracing it. So that's kind of how that goes. And then the second 8 weeks of preseason, we lift in the after practice. And okay, that's because practices get a little bit harder. We start doing more routines, and then we don't have to focus as much as we do in lift. We also have summer workouts. Summer workouts are when we do like stadium stairs, and bike workouts, and just really hard things to get yourself in shape and like build that kind of cardio and endurance to prepare yourself for the season as well. So that's kind of what's focused in on the summer stuff. And then you're building muscle and like lifting heavy weights kind of during preseason. And then by the time you get to season, you don't really lift much at all because you have all like that muscle and like endurance, I guess, that you need for the season. So we're finishing up. We're in the second half of our preseason now. So a lot more routines. We're putting our routines together for the season, which is really exciting. Lifting, I mean, I still lift once a day or once a week in the morning, which isn't as bad as 3 times, so it's okay. And we got it pushed to 7:30 instead of 6:30, which is also nice. So lifting, everyone else is after practice, and it's more like maintaining it and like you still add heavier weights and stuff, but it's like not as intense as it was the first 8 weeks. And then we do these cardio circuits, conditioning circuits in the gym 2 times a week. And those are so hard. Oh my goodness. Um, you go, it's like 20-minute circuits, and we do that twice a week. And it's like all upper body, lower body, core, every muscle that you can probably think of gets worked during that. And it's timed, and it's usually like 40 on, 20 off. And you go around like, I don't even know how many, like 15 different things for like 20 minutes. And it's a lot, but it does help build endurance, and it helps prepare us for season. So it definitely is worth it. But that's kind of like how our season kind of are structured. I don't know. And then I guess to add, so I retired elite gymnastics now, but when I was doing elite gymnastics at the same time, we had season January to like April, and then I would have my elite season as soon as that was done. And that usually goes all through the summer. Honestly, it's kind of all year round. There's some meets that I usually miss in like January, February ish because I'm doing NCAA season. But then I have season meets that I do in like April, May, and then sometimes there's some summer meets and then there's some fall meets. So when I was doing both, it was like I didn't really have an off season. But now, I don't know. For the regular NCAA gymnasts, you usually get once our season is done in April off until about like June, July. It's not off because I mean gymnastics is a hard sport, and if you stopped doing your sport completely or stop doing flips in gymnastics completely, it'd be really hard to get it back because like all the air sense and air awareness and all of that. Um, it's important to maintain that, or at least maintain some strength and all that stuff, because it's hard to get back and it takes a lot of time to get back if you don't. So, yeah, that's kind of how our preseason goes. Um, but now we're at a point where we're doing routines. We're putting routines together. On Friday, we did show routines on all the events that we did that day, which is super exciting. A show routine, basically, you just like salute to the coaches and you do like your routine like you would in a competition, and everyone kind of watches and cheers, and you have that extra pressure to want to do good because you're like practicing for meets. So that was super exciting. I think last week or maybe the week before was like when we first started like getting into those routines. Which yeah, super fun. Um, Another thing, we have inter squad. So we actually have an inter squad coming up right before Thanksgiving break. I think it's that Friday, the 22nd. If I had to guess, honestly, I think it's the 22nd, but I think it's that Friday. Honestly, I don't even know if it's that Friday. That before Thanksgiving break, but we have a Thanksgiving inter squad, and that is when judges come in to watch us. We are split into two teams. We wear a leotard for usually it's like cream team and scarlet team. So you get assigned a team. You wear a leotard, either it's like red or like white. And yeah, you do like a whole practice competition. You have judges in there, and it kind of helps you prepare for season and see what you're lacking or you're missing or what you need to improve on or fix or change. And oh, she just told me I'm right about the 22nd. So if you're listening and you're wanting to attend, um, the inter squad, Nebraska inter squad, Thanksgiving inter squad is November 22nd. And yeah, you go around and you compete, and it's super fun. And I think it's going to be open to the public. Usually it is. And it's held at the Vanny in our gym, though, in our training gym. But yeah, it's a good way to kind of get a feel for what it's like to compete, get all the first competition nerves out. And yeah, you get scores and feedback. And it's like a friendly competition between the team, too. And then we do another one in December, right before Christmas break. That one's a little bit more intense. So the November one, you compete. Kind of everyone competes, and then by the time you get to like December, then it's like top 8 on each event compete, and then by the time we get into the season, it really narrows down to top 6 on each event compete. So the top or like best 6 on each event compete at an actual competition. But the first couple inter squads is just getting everyone used to competing and seeing what people do or how they do under pressure. So that's something to look forward to, and yeah, I'm very excited about that. So I also thought it'd be interesting to talk about kind of like my day-to-day schedule, or like a day in the life of me. I don't know. So this week, I mean, this week's chaotic. I'm not even going to get into that, but just like exams, and I'm giving a speech tomorrow. There's a what's it called? There's an appreciation luncheon at the athletic department tomorrow, and I am a representative giving a speech on behalf of the athletic department, so I need to finish memorizing that. That's just like a random thing that I'm doing, though. It's not an every week thing. But typically, without all those random things, yeah, okay. I'll talk about the one from like the first 8 weeks because that's probably the most interesting one. We lift on Mondays would have been lift 6:30 to like 7:30, breakfast, and then I would usually do like PT, and then I only have classes on Tuesday, Thursdays, which is really nice. I structured that on purpose. Um, so I have back-to-back classes on those days, but and then this is chaotic. Monday and Thursday morning lift, and then Tuesday I also had morning lift. Um, and then I had like I don't know. I'm part of a lot of different like organizing committees and groups. So and then my body is kind of broken, so I do a lot of PT. So those days that I'm not in class in the mornings, usually I do PT. I have other meetings. Sports psych. Oh my gosh, sports psych is so helpful with everything going on lately. Um, so that's been really helpful. And then at nights, okay, so let me go back. Lift, do whatever I need to do during the day, PT, sports psych, whatever. And then, oh, also eating. And then I go to practice. And then Mondays, we also have massages. And then, so there are these groups, leadership groups at Nebraska. There's SAC, which is like the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. There's NVOL, there's Inner Circle. There's a bunch of just like international student group. That's one that I go to. And those are usually at nights. So at the end of practice, sometimes I'll go to those. My Tuesday, Thursday schedule is lift in the morning, go home, shower, eat really quick, go back, and then I have 3 back-to-back classes, and then I have practice, and then I'm not done my day until usually like 6-ish. But it's all good. It's part of the experience. Um, and then when you get to season, I don't know my season schedule for classes yet. I forget. But then we end up traveling on the weekends, sometimes Friday, sometimes Mondays, or sometimes we like compete on a Monday or Friday. So you miss those days of school. So you have to figure out all of that. And then you end up traveling on the weekends. We have we have a lot of travel meets this year. So I'm really looking forward to that. I am scared of flying though, but I'm getting over it somewhat, honestly. Not really, but that's okay. And basically we travel usually like the day before the competition. If it's like a regular like dual meet, if it's like a conference championships or like a bigger meet, sometimes we'll go 2 days before to kind of get used to the environment and everything. But a regular dual meet, we travel the day before, spend time in the hotel, have meetings and stuff that night with the team, wake up in the morning, team breakfast. Sometimes we compete at night and we have like all day. So some people go shopping. Some people just do schoolwork, or I don't know. I usually do schoolwork or play games on my iPad because I don't like walking around all morning. But and then you get to the competition. The competition usually lasts like 5 hours because I don't know if people know this, but you warm up each event and then you compete each event again. So it takes a long time. And then depending on the time that we're done, sometimes we fly home right after or bus home, but sometimes we're not able to. So we have to spend the extra night and then we fly the next morning. So it's usually like a 3-day thing when we travel, and that kind of eats into your school schedule, and then you have to work all around that. But it's fun. I'm really looking forward to season. Um, yeah, I love it. It's like it makes the preseason worth it. The struggles and the ups and downs, it just makes it all worth it for me. Um, so one thing, I don't know, I thought it would be interesting to talk about, and my mom suggested that I talk about it, is like, what am I doing with my life? And honestly, I don't know. Um, I graduate in May, and I'm kind of running out of time, and I need to figure out what to do. And she reminded me of this today, and she texted me this today. I know she's listening. Um, I'm at a point right now where I really need to lock in and figure out what to do. Everyone says that like college goes by so fast, and I'm just like, yeah, right, but it does. I'll get into that in my next and final part of this radio show, but we'll cut to break. You're listening to Beyond the Routine with Spence. We'll be back.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today. The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations, now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? That feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11th, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios on O Street. Attention students and anyone else looking for a great deal. Sun Valley Lanes and Games has the ultimate weeknight special. For just $15.95, enjoy unlimited bowling, lucky putt mini golf, and laser tag. Flash your college ID at check-in to receive $2 off your admission. It's the perfect way to unwind Sunday through Thursday nights. Check out sunvalleylanes.com for hours and availability. Sun Valley Lanes and Games, located at 321 Victory Lane.
Lincoln's best place to meet, eat, and compete. Sun Valley.
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Wellman Plumbing at 402-434-2400 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-434-2400.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
The Link Grill, Draft, and Crafts is your spot in Southeast Lincoln for great food and drink. They're serving new menu items and a killer craft cocktail menu with your favorite draft beers. You'll love their pizza and new entree option. It's a great place to watch any live events, and they have music bingo every month. They have an aggressive loyalty program that rewards fans with 7% back on all purchases. Home of the Nebraska Power Hour every night from 8 to 9 p.m. Order online at the lnkgrill.com or stop in at 84th and Highway 2 today.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Empower a child today with a Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
Back to Beyond the Routine with Spence on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Emma Spence.
Welcome back to Beyond the Routine with Spence. I am your host, Emma Spence, and tonight I am doing the show solo. Honestly, though, I have some people that have been giving me feedback on how this is going. I'm very thankful for them. kind of giving me points if I look like I'm running out of them to talk about. So very grateful for them. Also, my mom texted me during the break saying she is listening. So let me just finish that thought about what's next for me, what to do when I graduate. So yeah, like I said, everyone's always like, college goes by so fast. And I was literally just like, yeah, okay. Like, it doesn't feel like it at all. Like, coming in as a freshman, I was just like, I was a very different person, not gonna lie. I was very, very shy, very quiet. If you told me as a freshman that I would end up going on the radio for an hour by myself to talk, I would think that you are crazy. Um, so there's been a lot of growth in that area of just coming out of my comfort zone and talking to other people and all that. And I think I'm about to get sidetracked, but I feel like another thing is that like I was just so quiet and kept to myself. Um, I feel like a big thing is like I just didn't really know how to reach out to other people or reach out or ask for help if I ever needed help. And I feel like um since then I've grown a lot in that space and I've had some really good people in my life that have helped me navigate all of that. But anyways, going back to answer mom's question. So oh no, I'm not there yet. So another thing, um my coach always said the same thing. Like Heather, because I don't know, my body, I said earlier, hurts a lot. So it's kind of always been like that. Gymnastics, you don't do it for that long because it takes a toll on you physically and mentally. And even coming in as a freshman, I had a lot of injuries and I was just like kind of struggling through preseason, struggling through season. And it's kind of always been like that. Like the amount of tape that I have on my body sometimes during season is crazy. But, gotta love it. It's part of it, part of the experience. But she was like, "I know it's hard." Like, she would always say, "I know it's hard, and I know you're hurting right now, but I'm telling you this is gonna be done, like, in a blink of an eye. Like, I know you can't see that right now as a freshman or as a sophomore, but, like, once you're done your senior year, you're gonna think it all went by so fast, so just try and embrace it and try and enjoy it." So that's kind of the mentality I've had, and I never really believed it until now. I'm, like, going into my last preseason, about to head into my last season, and it's just like, wow, it actually does go by really fast. I feel like the days are long and even sometimes the weeks are long, but like when you look back, the months and the years, they go by really fast. So I don't know. I graduate in May with a communication studies degree and two minors in education and psychology. I've been trying to brainstorm of what to do. I think I want to get my master's degree and I think I want to do an MBA. So I'm actually looking at schools for applying for that right now. Um, Like I said before, I think it'd be fun to have a podcast. Probably not a full-time thing, don't worry, mom. Just something more as, like, a hobby or something fun to do. I don't know. That's kinda why I wanted to do this radio show too as for my last senior year, and just, like, have a space where I can see if this is something that I enjoy doing or something that I wanna do in the future, especially with my communications degree. It's kinda I don't know, kinda similar, kinda related, so seeing if I can use and take advantage of things that I've learned throughout my major and apply that and see if, I don't know, this is a type of way that I wanna use that and just do. I don't know, so that's an option. Don't worry, not the main option. Honestly, if anyone has ideas on things that you think I would be good at, please let me know. I'm a part of a lot of different groups, some safe sport related groups in Canada. I'm actually the athlete rep now at Gymnastics Canada since I've been retired. That's been honestly a little bit more time consuming than I thought, but I really enjoy doing it, and I think it's going to be really helpful for the athletes to have someone that's very involved in the sport and just what they're doing, and just be a good support for them. So I've been doing that, and I think I do want to continue being part of all these groups once I graduate. Um, but yeah, I think I'm gonna take the time, find a master's program, an MBA, and apply for that, and I'm gonna do that. I'm planning on staying with some of these leadership groups, possibly starting a podcast. I don't know, and I'm gonna find a job. It's gonna be fine, mom. It'll be fine for real. But yeah, I think for now, right now, at least, I still have time to figure this out. But for now, I just want to be present and enjoy everything that I'm going through here. I mean, this is my last year here as a student at the University of Nebraska, student athlete at the University of Nebraska. my last year doing gymnastics ever in my life, and I've been doing gymnastics since I was like 6. So that's going to be a change, but honestly, I'm ready. I'm ready for that, and I'm ready to embrace it, and I'm ready to see who I become when I'm not doing gymnastics, because it does take up so much of my time and my mental capacity. And even if it's not in the gym, it's the PT, it's the mental, like the sports psych, the fueling myself, and the nutrition meetings, like all of these things in my life. Like, I'm spending so much time on things related to gymnastics, and I'm just excited to see what I do or what I choose to do when I have this time to do something else. It's a little daunting, not gonna lie, but, I'm excited to see where that takes me, and I'm excited to see what I choose to do with that. Um, yeah, I'm looking forward to still, like, working out and eating healthy, like, all of that kinda stuff, but it's like I'm gonna be able to do it in my own way now too. It's not like I have to fuel myself to do an all-around NCAA gymnastics competition. It's like, okay, I can choose to eat what I wanna eat without thinking about, like, the amount of carbs and protein and, like, all that I'm getting in so that I have enough energy, and then I'm not same thing, I'm not lifting and working out to be able to do the gymnastic stuff that I do. It's gonna be more for, like, mental health and just keeping me sane and happy and healthy. So I'm really looking forward to that transition. But in the meantime, I'm really embracing the grind and embracing this experience here at Nebraska, because there's so many great opportunities given to us here as athletes, and I want to be able to take advantage of those opportunities and the people that I meet here too. There's so many great people here. But that's where my headspace is at. Don't worry, mom, I'll figure it out. And yeah, that's the end of this show. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. That was a little bit chaotic, but it's okay. We powered through. Maybe I'll try to do solo shows more often. We'll see. You are listening to Be on the Routine with Spence. See you next week.